Oh, you don't hear me coming because I have a mic issue. So let's try and do this again.
You are listening to Sean Harrison on Amp Live Talk Radio, a place for amputees and those dealing with limb loss. The views expressed on the show by the host, co hosts, and guests are their own. Always seek medical advice from a licensed medical professional.
And I hope I hope you all can hear me out there. I don't think my sound went through on my Q in there, so my mixer's been giving me some issues. Hopefully, you are hearing me on Facebook Live, but it's not a big deal because I can always go back in and throw that sound in. If you are listening and you heard my wonderful sound pitch, thanks for tuning in. If you are hearing me on Facebook, hopefully you are. I hear there's one that says no sound. I have no sound. Do you hear me now? Do you hear me now? Okay, you can hear me now. That's good. I have little buttons on my mixer here that I push, and of late I've been getting a horrible echo, and I think it's because we've been hooked up to Skype, which eventually I'm going to have to just figure out the Skype situation. Maybe I'll play that Q in again for you guys after I do my brief introduction, and hopefully that will give you guys my Q in a little bit better. But yes, tonight we're going to be talking about some of the issues with skin. I see so many people talking about skin issues when I'm on Facebook and I'm looking at some of the posts that I see in some of the pages that I go to. Everybody's posting issues about skin and their residual limb and how it looks. Well, I thought tonight, why not let's just do kind of like a quick little show and talk about skin. And believe it or not, skin is pretty simple. It's going to be pretty common sense. I mean, if you have a residual limb, whether it's upper or lower, if you have a missing limb, if there's something that doesn't look right, I mean, you want to go get it checked out. Typically, what we see is we see people that have issues with limbs, and I see everyone posting about it and asking questions like, "Hey, man, what do you think about this? Does this look right?" If it's oozing and bleeding, it's probably not right. So tonight, I want to talk about that a little bit and hopefully bring some light to that situation because I think a lot of people, we do use social media for just about everything. And don't get me wrong, social media is great. I bring my show to you on social media. And I think it's really cool some of the things that we can do with our social media page. Pardon me here. But I think a lot of times we need to, how can I say, we've got to quit thinking that we're going to find the answer out there through our social media because you got to realize there's a lot of people in the same situation you're in, and we're all trying to figure this out. And some of us may know, but the majority of us don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I don't know. I just try to bring the most common sense, logical answer to the table. Um, so when we're thinking about our skin and we know that we have a residual limb, what are some of the most common things that we probably see with our skin? So we're going to delve into that. We're going to talk about some different things. I have some different pages up here with different, we'll just say various information. And I'm going to try and put that information into a logical thought process. We'll say that much. So before we even get started with the show, I want to say, hey, I am really sorry if I didn't come through with the tunes there. I mean, I will try and do that over and get us queued back up. Typically, I always come on anyway and do a welcome onto the show through Facebook. So we may try that again and we may do it again and just see what happens. But hey, this is what happens when you do a live podcast. I don't really record my shows. So we just kind of just fly by the seat of our pants in here. And hopefully you guys just enjoy this experience. I'm not in any, how can I say? I'm not some highly sophisticated show, some highly technical guy. I try to do my best at putting together a show that's decent, and that you won't mind too much listening to me ramble on about the things that I'm going to be talking about. But it is live. I don't pre-record stuff. In fact, I can look at all your comments right here on Facebook and see you commenting to me. So bear with me as I try to do this the best that I can. And my sound sounds a lot better through my headphones. This new mixer that I got has been causing me some issues. So I do want to apologize for that you have to put up with my amateur moments as I do this show with you. But hey, it's a learning experience for all of us. That's the way I see it. And we're going to have some fun with it, no matter what. And again, yes, for those of you out there that are new to Amp Life Talk Radio, I do a live broadcast on Facebook and I do the podcast on the actual Spreaker.com. So when you hear me talking to people, that's typically what I'm doing. Now, if you are techie and you want to chat other than Facebook, you can sign up at Spreaker.com and talk with me as I do the show. There's two ways you can do that. Once we get the Skype situation figured out, you'll actually be able to call into the show and talk with me, and we can do different things like that. But right now, we are still working out some kinks on that end. And the only time I really get to practice that is when I go live. So you kind of get to hear me fumble through some of that stuff. Thanks to everyone who has been with me for almost 2 years now. I'm going on my second year, second episode, 34 episodes in this year or in this season. Well, tonight, big thank you to all of you that do follow and listen and look on Facebook. I'm going to have to do something a little bit better for you guys on Facebook because you just get to stare at me in my office and I don't have my office all the way up to speed yet. So I'm going to try and get it dappered up for you guys so that you can actually see stuff. I'm actually going to try and have stuff in the background that you can try and figure out what that stuff is. For now, you just see my little poster and some of my Spartan medals. Hopefully, couple more of those are coming. Got Dave the Spartan trying to talk me into doing a super, actually trying to talk me into doing a back-to-back race weekend coming up here in November. Dave, you're crazy, man. I'm going to hate you after that weekend. But, and Dave, you were trying to call me. I'm talking to Dave now. I saw you trying to call me, but I was trying to get ready for the show. So I didn't have time to talk, brother. Feel free to hit me on after the show or just send me a message here. Again, Dave is the One-Legged Spartan. He is part of our show too, and one of our co-hosts, if you wondered who I'm talking to. I like just keeping the show very casual and very real. So I like being able to talk to you guys as if we're sitting in the same room and talking to each other. Now, before we get started into this and get some different things going, what I want to do is I want to thank some people for being involved with the show. My friend Rich at Soul Effective Productions, who does all of my wonderful clips for me. Unless you hear something really silly, then it's me putting a clip together. But the professional sounding stuff is always done through Soul Effective Productions. My friend Rich, thank you. I can't thank you enough. Look him up on Facebook. He has a Facebook page. He does really cool stuff with audio and video if you need help with any of that stuff. I know I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if I didn't have him. Now, as an amputee, you know that proper limb care is essential to us maintaining our healthy skin for our residual limbs. It also helps us prevent wounds that can get ugly and get out of hand, sores, ulcers, all types of things, blisters. We have to know how to take care of our skin, our residual limb skin. That's going to be something very important for all of you new amputees that are out there that are going to now be introduced to prosthetic devices and liners and socks and all the different things that go with that. Some of you that have been wearing them for a while, this is old hat to you. You already know some of the tricks and you've learned how to maintain your skin and keep it in good shape so that you can keep up and keep moving Well, for all these newbies, we need to give them a little bit of advice and help them understand how to not get a flat tire so they're sitting on the sidelines. We want to keep them in the game. Your skin is probably one of the most important things that you're going to have to learn to deal with as a new amputee, putting that inside a socket, donning a prosthetic device, using it for hours upon hours upon hours, days upon days, weeks, months. How do we do that? Well, I'm going to hopefully shed some light on some of that for you. And again, like I said, I'm doing this show because I see so many posts on the social media pages. I'm on like probably 6 amputee support groups. Sorry for me bumping the table there. 6 amputee support sites on Facebook, and I try and post into all of you guys pages. Thanks. And I want to say this. Thanks for you guys letting me be there and post. Some people don't get that I'm not there trying to sell anything, and I got an ugly message from one guy, so I removed myself from his site. But hey, if you welcome me into your page, I'll do my best to join and to share what I can with your followers and your members. I think Facebook is big enough for all of us to share the people who are there. I'm not out here trying to steal anybody's followers. Trust me, I'm busy enough. But I do want to make sure I am putting out some good information and making myself available to those people who have questions. So if you do have a support group page on Facebook, hit me up and I will try and like it and add and do some posts in there when I'm doing shows or some of the survey questions that I do. Tonight, I will be posting some stuff in there from this show tonight too, as we talk about how we take care of our skin. Limb and skin care is crucial to us as amputees. What may start out as a small little patch, something looking red, just a little bruise or just a little bump, those things, if not treated and addressed, can become something bigger. Pressure ulcers, blisters, these things can keep you out of your prosthesis for weeks, if not months. It might even lead to you having to go back in for a revision of your residual limb. We don't want that. We really don't want that. So we want to make sure that we're doing what we need to do to try and keep ourselves healthy. How do we do that, man? Like I said, I see everybody posting pictures of things that are going on with them and wanting to know what's normal, what's not normal. It's kind of hard when you're all dealing with, we're all amputees, but some of us have had issues that we can maybe help someone through, but we don't want to give the wrong advice. And I know you don't want to get the wrong advice from somebody who's actually just trying to help you. So let's read through some stuff together. I'll tell you my sources. You can look it up for yourself. Okay. We don't want anything bad to happen to any of us as an amputee. So we want to use these tips and this advice very carefully. And please keep in mind, I am not your doctor. So please always seek professional medical help if you have any questions. Well, one of the things that I think is going to help you first is, do you know how to check your skin? That's the number one question. Do you know how to go in and check your skin for any type of issues that might arise? If you do know how to check your skin, I want to give you a pat on the back. I want to say, hey, attaboy, that's good. Hand mirrors, you will hear me say that a lot. Hand mirrors are an effective way to be able to check our skin and to find out if something is right or wrong. We always want to know about hand mirrors and using them effectively. Hand mirrors can be put to very good use if you use it the right way. If you don't use it the right way, hand mirrors are not going to do you any good. Why do we say hand mirrors? Well, for some of us that have a gut and a stomach and we're not as flexible as we used to be, it's kind of hard to look all the way down there and see at the end and of your little residual limb. And you really want to look under there all the way back to the calf. If you live by yourself, these are very important things to be able to have so that you can do a proper check of your skin as you're going through your day, man. I mean, it's going to be crucial to you. So you want to make sure you have that. Now, in checking your skin, as I said, you want to use a mirror because you want to get a good look at your residual limb from all angles. Now, here's what happens. What happens if you see something? Don't panic. Don't get on Google and start searching because, we all do. Oh my goodness, what is that? We all go into panic mode and we want to know, what did I just see? So the first thing I would recommend is look at it very well. Try and get an idea of what it is. Could be an ingrown hair. It could just be something on your leg. But if you see something that's red, purple, bluish, feels swollen, looks calloused or cracked, you're going to want to take some action. What type of action do you take? Well, the best action that you can take is get in touch with your doctor. That is the first thing. Do not wait. Do not hesitate. Do not put it off. You want to make sure you're taking this serious and going to get on the phone, make an appointment, tell your doctor's office, hey, I have something on my leg. I'm not sure what it is. I'd like to see the doctor so he can check it out. That's going to be the best piece of advice I can give you. Instead of posting on Facebook and asking people questions about it, get to your doctor. Notify your healthcare provider immediately and keep a very close eye on it. If you have, let's say, 2 or 3 days until your appointment, one of the things you're going to want to do, and this is probably something you probably never thought of, take pictures of it. That will help you see if it's getting better or worse if you have, let's say, 5 days until you go to your doctor. You take pictures of it. If it looks like it's growing, it's getting actually worse, redder, a deep blue, a deep purple, it's swelling more, you have documentation to take with you to your doctor. Okay? Take a picture. That's probably one of the best things I can say to you when you're thinking about, you're looking at a wound, you see something, and you're not sure what's going on. You want to keep a very close eye on it and see what happens as you are going through your day. That could be making this better or worse. Do not pick at it. I want to throw that out there. Do not pick at it, okay? Especially if you're diabetic, we need to be very, very careful with how we treat our skin because we don't heal as fast as someone else. So, and a little prick can go very bad, very fast for a diabetic patient. Again, don't wait to see what happens. Make the doctor appointment as soon as possible. Something seemingly so small, just a little red spot, a little dark spot, can turn into skin breakdown or an ulcer very quickly. And that can lead to you having a very, very bad couple of weeks without your leg. If you notice skin breakdown, call your doctor or call your prosthetist. He might be able to come out and might be able to give you a little insight also by telling you, hey, I know what this is. I know why it's happening. It's being caused by pressure from your prosthesis. He may be able to alleviate that problem and help you find some relief by making adjustments to your prosthesis. The first thing and the hardest thing for most of us to do, and I was just talking with Valley Wound Care today with a patient that they want me to see, is you must stop using your prosthesis if you see something getting worse. Let me say that again. You have to stop using your prosthetic device because if you don't, it's going to continually get worse. So please understand, if you see something, it's not getting better, it's getting worse, cease and desist using the prosthetic device immediately. Call the prosthetist, your prosthetic company, your doctor. But what's going to help you more than anything is to get that pressure off of that spot by not using your device. So if you continue to do that, your skin will continue to break down further. It can turn into a pressure ulcer or worse, which can take weeks for you to heal from. If you develop a pressure ulcer, you will not be able to use your prosthesis. I'm going to tell you, it could be a month, because if you're a diabetic, you're going to have to wait until you're completely healed before you can get back in that and start using it. So remember the first two things we just talked about. Okay. Next, we need to always make sure that we are washing our limb daily. This will help alleviate a lot of problems for us. Washing your limb daily is going to help you clean off all the sweat, dead skin, hair, all the things that are there that could cause an infection. Clean it daily, pat it dry. Take care of your hygiene, because your leg is trapped inside that liner and trapped inside that socket. It gets sweaty, it gets stinky, it can turn really ugly really quick if you're not taking care of that. All that moisture trapped between your limb and your prosthesis can lead to fungal growth. I don't know if you know that, which can lead to infection and even skin breakdown and ulcers. So we want to make sure you're cleaning your limb. And with cleaning the limb, what do we want to do? You want to clean your liner, because your liner is intimately connected to your residual limb. To prevent any rubber breakdown with your liner and skin breakdown, what do we want to do? Well, of course, you want to use the same type of soap on your body that you're going to use on your liner. I've heard people tell me they're using rubbing alcohol, dishwashing detergent, all kinds of stuff, man, to clean their liners with. And you have to realize those harsh chemicals are going to be trapped inside a hot box with your leg, and that can get ugly real quick, man. So use normal body soap that you use on your body to clean your liner. Okay. Now, when you're washing your socks and your shrinkers and stuff like that, just use how you normally wash your clothes. Nothing special there. But the things that are going to be in contact with your skin, we don't want to use harsh chemicals to clean those. That can turn bad and cause rashes and all kinds of stuff. So what do we want to do to prevent our skin breakdown? We got to clean, we got to check our skin, and we got to report. Clean, check, report. Okay. Those are things that we want to make sure that we're staying on top of. Again, your liners touch your skin. Okay. You want to make sure you're very careful how you're doing that, whether you're above the knee, below the knee, above the elbow, below the elbow. There's going to be some type of interface that's going to be touching your skin, and you want to be very, very careful with what you're cleaning that with. Now, for those of you that are of the lighter complexion, I'm very fortunate to be a wonderful mocha. But for those of you that are, we'll say, skin, or we'll say, how can we say that? Sunlight impaired. We want to be very careful when we go outside to do outdoor activities. If you take your leg off and remove the liner and it's summertime and the sun's blazing, what do you think you should do? Well, you're probably going to want to put some sunscreen on that residual limb. That limb has not seen the day of light for many, many moons. So it's probably going to have a whole different shade of color to it compared to your other limbs that get out on a daily basis. Protect it. Put some sunscreen on it, because you can get sunburn and blister if you decide, oh, I'm just going to lay out and I'm just going to take my leg off. It's hot. I'm just going to lay in the sun. Put some sunscreen on that leg. put some sunscreen on that residual limb to prevent any type of sun damage to it. Because remember, you got to use it. And having a sunburnt limb and putting your liner and your leg back on, that's not going to be a good feeling. I can guarantee you that. So your limb isn't usually exposed to sun. So we want to make sure when we're doing stuff like that, it's going to be susceptible to getting a sunburn. Treat it good. Okay. Avoid lotions and alcohol-based products. And I got to tell you this, my friends, I spent well over 45 minutes to an hour one day at my local Rite Aid looking through all the different lotions that they had there that didn't have alcohol or any type of acidic products in it. Let me tell you, it was a hard process. I actually ended up having one of the pharmacy guys come over and help me because I told him what I was doing, and it was for the show. You really need to pick the lotions up, look at them, read them, especially if you have sensitive skin. You want to make sure you are paying attention to that, because unless directed by a physician, you do not want to apply alcohol, which can dry your skin out. Diabetics, be on alert. Know this. Even if it's in a lotion, it can add that same effect to you because it is alcohol based. Now, we don't want to get stuff that's too lotiony and add too much moisture to our limb, because then we make it weak. We compromise it. We want just enough. I'm not saying, dump your limb in a bucket of it, but apply it. I typically put mine on after a shower. I put a little bit on before I go to bed at night when I just pulled all my stuff off, because my leg, that's when it's the driest. And you'll notice when you take everything off, you're itchy. That itchiness is telling you that your leg has been stuck in that liner all day and it's sucked all the moisture out of your leg. So it's asking for a little help. Do not scratch. Please do not scratch. Scratching can lead to some ugly, horrible things, and we don't want to do that. Now, follow these instructions, or follow the instructions for your liner for cleaning, donning, and putting it on. That also goes for your socks and any other products that you're using with your prosthesis. Follow those instructions, or at least talk to your practitioner about how to deal with them, cleaning them, storing them away. I notice a lot of people store their liners inside out where the sticky side's out. I know Matt caught me one day doing that. My practitioner is like, "What are you doing?" So, because they're sticky and everything sticks to them. And my house is relatively pretty clean, but if you have pets or anything like that, cats, dogs, if you have those in the wrong configuration, you're going to more than likely have some cat or pet hair or dander or something attached to your liner. And when you go to put it on, it's going to go right up against your skin. Okay. So we want to be very, very careful with that. Making sure everything fits right. That's going to be probably another good thing that you want to make sure you are paying attention to, from your socket to your liners. Make sure everything is fitting proper. If you get a loose fitting socket after time, well, you probably need to apply some socks. If you start noticing that your sock use is going above 8-ply socks, you're getting into the 10, 12-ply range, I think it's time to go pay a visit with your practitioner and get some things figured out, because you, my friend, you probably are in need of a new socket. And let me tell you one thing. There's nothing that will cause you more harm and damage than a ill-fitting socket. They can lead to pain and pressure sores, ulcers, all kinds of things can happen because your socket is ill-fitting. So you need to stay on top of that and know when to go to your practitioner or your prosthetic company and say, "Hey, I'm experiencing some pain because my leg is too small for this socket. I'm just swimming around in there." Keeping in mind, we want to help ourselves prevent skin breakdown, pressure ulcers, and any other real problems that are going to come to us if we don't know how to take care of our skin. Pressure sores are painful, my friends. They're inconvenient, time consuming, and can take months away from you being out, running around, having fun, seeing your family, going, doing things in your prosthetic device. So always, always, always follow just those general rules. And I think you're probably going to be okay. We're going to get to a little commercial break here, and I'm going to see how my sounds. But if it does sound weird, y'all just bear with me. I'll be right back after this quick little break. Well, I hope that you all enjoyed that quick little tidbit of a break there. Well, I'm back, and I think we still are having some issues with that sound playing through on the one end like I wanted to play through, but I'm managing to get through this show. That's the thing I'm doing. And I think you are all getting you're all getting it. So um back to what we're talking about. Taking care of our skin problems, amputees experience. Amputees experience a variety of issues when it comes to your skin and the issues that go on with that. One of the things that I try to talk to amputees about is looking after their skin, especially when they're diabetic patients, is to keep a close watch on that skin. There's a reason why we are so worried about people who are diabetic patients and their skin is because their skin is not sometimes not as tough as us normal folks. We have a little bit tougher skin tolerance, and our skin can put up with a little bit more. When we have people who are diabetic patients, their skin is a little bit more fragile and it doesn't recover so well from amputations. So if you are a diabetic patient, keep that little bit of information in your hip pocket. I see a couple people joined us. Hopefully you're all hearing me well. We're having some sound issues earlier. I hope you all hear me more than anything else. I'm not concerned about my music and my commercial breaks, but hopefully you hear me. And I want to give a special thanks out to Valley Wound and Healing Center. They are one of our primary people that I do a lot of work with, and they are some good people there. And seeing that we're talking about skin problems and issues, if you live in this area, the Central Valley, Modesto, Turlock, Stockton, Tracy area, they're probably one of the best places to go to have someone treat you for your wounds. If you're a physician out there and you're looking for a place to refer for wound care, they are the best. That's Valley Wound Healing Center. Valley Wound and Healing Center. Check with them. Check with them. Please do go in and tell them Sean sent you over there. Now, from time to time, you may find yourself dealing with an uncomfortable situation related to wearing your prosthesis. It is important to be able to recognize what's happening, what's going on with my leg, man. There's some weird stuff going on. And like I said, a lot of you, and the reason I'm kind of just doing this little talk tonight, um, is just basically from what I've just been seeing on some of the social media sites, the peer support pages on Facebook, where everybody's taking pictures of their wounds or their limbs and putting them up and asking questions like, hey, is this normal? Is this right? What should I do? Um, if you just tune in, if it doesn't look right, we probably want to go see our doctor. Okay. Talk to our practitioner. Stop wearing the prosthetic device. We've covered a lot of ground thus far. We just got a little bit more to talk about. Um, this topic is something that should be just common sense to all of us as amputees. But when something goes wrong down below or on your limb, we all go into panic mode, man, because you just lost something and you don't want to lose another one. So I kind of get it where you kind of don't think right. So when you kind of see something going on, you kind of get into panic mode. And I can understand that. Panic mode's not a good thing. I've been there myself. But I'm doing this show so that we don't go into panic mode, and we take a moment, we gather our thoughts, and hopefully you'll remember what I said on this show, and you'll be like, okay, I remember that Sean guy saying this and this. So hopefully this will stick and it'll kind of resonate with you, and you guys will kind of remember some of this as uh, you find yourself in one of these predicaments. Okay. So the problem, and I think the biggest problem that you're going to find wearing a prosthetic device, is dry skin. Dry skin is the worst thing on the planet because you are wearing a liner for one. Your leg is enclosed in this hot box for two, and you're going to find that your skin takes a beating from everything that is being put through. So probably one of the biggest problems you're going to find is dry, flaky skin. How do we deal with that? Well, as I mentioned before, you're going to need to do some research on different things that you want to put on your leg, lotions and different things like that. Alcohol-based lotions can be very tough on your skin. They can make that dry problem even worse. So to relieve the itchy, dry skin, add some moisturizing lotion, nourishing type of lotion. I think there's like prosthetic moisturizers out there, different things like that, that you can add to your daily routine to help you um, deal with this. Now, I'm not saying put it on all thick and creamy and have like lotion going all over the place. What I am trying to say is put enough on to where your leg doesn't feel dry, and rub it in thoroughly. Okay. That's about the best thing I can say to you is use something, but don't go overboard with it. Mineral oil. There's a lot of different things that people try out there. I would just say you need to know your skin type and try out some of the different things that are available to you. You're just trying not to put alcohol-based type stuff on your leg. Okay, skin irritation around your thigh area. Most of you, if you keep your liners high like I do, there's a little ring around your leg, and that thing can get itchy. So what do we do? Well, the top of your leg is always going to be the most under pressure because that's where things are pulling. The liner's doing its job, sealing you in. The sleeve is pulling. Everything's pulling on your skin right at that thigh area. So it's under a lot of pressure. Applying a targeted amount of lotion, or I use what is that? I have lotion, I have A&D ointment, I have a couple of different things that I put on there, cocoa butter, all these different things that I put on there to just treat that little area. You'll know what I'm talking about. It's the little ring at the very top of your leg where your liner seals, and that sealing can be very hard and tough, causing like a chafing effect. You can get anti-chafing creams, but like I said, just be careful what you put on it where it's not too harsh. and it's going to do more damage than good. But that's going to be one of the things you're going to be experiencing if you have, as an amputee, having a prosthesis on, that thigh high skin irritation where your liner seals in and sucks you in. Um, a lot of people talk about this one, and I've seen this one on some of the posts in some of the Facebook support pages that I go to. Sweating, a lot of sweaters out there, man. I was working in my backyard this weekend doing some rototiller work on my yard, trying to rip out weeds. And let me tell you, I was I pulled my liner off, man. It dropped. It just dripped sweat all over the place. My leg was dripping in it. Now, notice what I said. As I was working, I stopped to take the time to pull my leg off to deal with my leg. I didn't keep pushing through. I didn't keep trying to, oh, I'm going to keep doing this. Once you feel that your leg has been compromised in your liner by sweat or wetness, it's time to take a seat, sit down, pull it off, take care of your liner, take care of your leg. Typically, it's drying them. Dry your liner with a clean cloth, dry your leg, let it air for a couple of minutes, and then once everything's nice and dry, you roll it back up on, and it'll give you a nice, good seal again. But you are going to stop. You have to stop to take care of it. Now, for people who are in this situation, you can't totally eliminate sweating, and on hot days you can't. But there's some of you out there, you'll sweat in the middle of winter in Alaska. So for you out there, it's just a part of your. That's just a part of your body's natural cooling process. You're a sweater, man. I hate saying it, but you are. You're a sweater. You can invest in a good anti uh, perspiration spray or roller, and it may help you um, control some of this. Now, I've heard a lot of different theories on it. My thing is apply it the night before and let it start soaking into your skin to see how it takes effect. There are some things called a prosthetic sheath. I have one of those from when I race in Spartan races, and I put it on. It really does help me out because I don't have to change my leg as frequent. I can go almost 3 hours or 2 hours with that on, depending on um, how much I'm doing, how much am I exerting myself and how hot it is. Specialized prosthetic socks worn underneath your liner. So there are some things out there. I would get with your practitioner and talk with them and see what's going on. I know there's a rumor out there, and I've seen somewhere where people talk about Botox injections. I would talk to your physician before you go do that. Okay. Excessive sweating. That's another problem that we can have. One of the other problems is a skin rash that's prickly. How many of you got that out there? The skin rash, a heat rash, where your skin gets prickly. So if you're experiencing some of this, the heat rashes that are known to happen, and this tends to happen where your skin rubs against skin, such as skin to groin, behind the knees, those types of areas. Now, if you are experiencing this, the best treatment is to dry off, cool off, okay, cool off, and avoid friction on the skin by wearing loose, light fitting, or lightweight clothes. That's the best thing you can do in that situation. That's going to help with that situation and help improve that for you drastically. Next problem that we typically see, contact dermatitis. Red skin, skin bumps, blisters, scales, crusties, and sores. If you are dealing with this, you are probably not a happy camper. And these are often caused by allergic reactions. Let me say that again. These are caused by allergic reactions. It may also be brought on by contact with a substance such as a detergent, skincare product, or materials that irritates the skin. Left untreated, these can lead to some chronic inflammation and other issues. So That's why I said in the beginning of the show, be careful what you clean your liners with and what you clean your legs with. Harsh chemicals, you might get one of these uh, reactions. So my advice would be to clean and then apply an anti-itch cream. I just found a cream the other day that's a Benadryl cream for, like, if you get bit by mosquitoes, you can apply that and it's supposed to help with the itching. Um, you could ask your doctor about that or the pharmacist if this might help if you find yourself with one of these rashes. Topical steroid creams, smooth into the skin, that will probably help. Um, Hope for products like zinc oxide can be something that you could probably get over the counter. Talk with your pharmacy, see what they say, get some information from them. If some of the components of your prosthetic limb are causing this, talk to your practitioner. He might be able to try a different liner with you or a different material that will not irritate you as much. Are we covering some good information for you guys on some of this? Because I just want to try and put something out there that's going to help you guys when you're posting into the pages I see on Facebook. Hopefully, some of this is helping. I really, really hope it is. This is just a quick down and dirty show. Nothing all high and fancy tonight. Nothing technical. Even my sound doesn't want to work, but I'm going to keep rolling, brother. I'm going to keep this show going. We got information we need to disseminate. So stay with me here, people. Another problem: small red bumps or white-headed pimples around hair follicles. Ooh, Lordy, if you've had one of those, the ingrown hairs on like the back of your leg or something, man, those things hurt like a mother, especially when they get all swollen, boy. And it happens. Let me tell you, those ingrown hairs, they happen. Also, I wanted to say this, since we were talking about hair and hair follicles, do not, let me just put it to you like this, not that I have done it, do not shave your leg. Do not shave your residual limb. Uh, my advice to you is when you're in the shower, have yourself a good loofah and give that leg a good scrubbing. The reason you'll find sometimes your amputated limb is hairier than your other limb is because it's covered. Nothing is bumping up against it. Your clothing isn't rubbing it and making hair naturally fall out. So you got to kind of get it to work itself out. So when you're in the shower, spend a good couple of minutes just scrubbing your leg in some of those areas where they're really hairy and try and help some of that hair naturally separate out of the leg and fall out on its own. That's the reason it's not falling out, is because your leg is trapped inside of something. I found that out the other day. I just wanted to share that with you. And it does work. It does help. Okay. So if you find yourself going through that, try that out and let me know if it kind of helps you. Now, if we got those whitehead and pimple problems, products called drawing salves, these things can hopefully help you deal with some of this. They can help draw out infections and other objects, including ingrown hairs from the skin. It is also a good idea to let the hair on your limb grow. Okay, don't shave it. I just said that. Do not shave that limb. Skin irritation on your kneecap, the patella. Okay, the patella area, you can get some irritation there. And if you find that you're getting some irritation there, the prosthetic liner, especially on below the knee, amputees, sleeves, is pulled a little bit too tight over the knee. If redness is occurring along the bottom third of your kneecap, it could be because of volume loss issues in your limb. So you want to check that. That's why it's always important to know if your limb is shrinking or not. Daily inspections will tell you this. How many socks you're using will tell you this. Are your liners fitting properly, or are they starting to get a little saggy? Okay. Use a anti-chafing cream that can help on that kneecap, the patella. Okay. You can use a liquid powder. Just put something on that area right there to help it out so that your knee moves nice and smooth. Okay. I've heard people say they put cornstarch and all these different things on their leg inside to help it move and do all these things. Excessive redness along the bottom third of the kneecap is typically the result of layering of your prosthetic socks. Why? Do you know why? Because your leg is shrinking. So you've got way too many socks on. And what you're doing is you're kind of creating a tourniquet effect up around your knee area, because your socks are meant they're meant to add volume towards the bottom part of your leg. And then when you get up around the kneecap area, it's going to be a little bit too tight for everything. And you might experience some redness or soreness or pain up in that area. Okay. You always want a good fit around your knee area of your prosthesis. You don't want it loose and banging around up in there to where you're not properly fitting in your socket. If you have something with pain or swelling, leaking along the suture line, these things here are things that you want to keep an eye out for. One of the things that I have found too is when you get something like this, if it's around your incision line, you might have a stitch. You might have a stitch just sitting in there that hasn't dissolved or wasn't taken out. And it's probably a good idea to go to your doctor and have him check. If you've healed over, we've had this, say you're completely healed and you still got this. You got this pain, this swelling, something leaking from your incision line, the suture line. You probably have a stitch or something that's still in there. They're going to have to get in there and get it out. It can cause you a fever. It's your body trying to experience and deal with a foreign object that was left in there. A physician can have the remaining suture removed. I think if you do x-rays, I think they show stuff like that. So just go to your doctor and let him know what you got. Some doctors don't like admitting that they left something in there. So you're going to have to be pretty adamant about that and make sure that they go in and take a look at it, especially if it's causing you some of the issues that we talked about. We got on the subject of loose fitting sockets, and those things can cause a wide range of problems for you. So if you think your socket is not fitting properly, get in touch with your practitioner and have him look at that. Especially, like I said, if your sock use is elevating up to that 10-12 range, you need to get on a new socket, partner. Okay. Pain along the inner brim of an above knee prosthetic socket. What could that be causing? What is that? Oh, well, if you suddenly lost weight, especially around the holidays, or gained weight, this can be called abductor roll. So this is for you above the knee people. The extra skin roll sits on top of the inner brim and creates discomfort for every step when it's compressed. So if you're an above knee amputee and you got some pain up along that inner brim of the above knee prosthesis, especially in the socket area, go get that checked out. You probably have experienced some type of weight loss, waist gain, or something like that, and you might need a new socket. If your weight gain is more than 30 pounds, you are definitely guaranteed a new socket. If your weight loss is more than 30 pounds, you're probably going to be needing a new socket. So get that checked out. That's what that could be. Okay. And it's probably going to leave some type of marks or bruising on you. But a highly trained practitioner will know exactly what that is once he looks at it. Skin breakdown caused by constant pressure. Man, these are what we call pressure sores. And you don't want to get these, my brothers and sisters out there. These things can be ugly and they can take you off your feet and get you out of your prosthesis for a long time. Pressure sores can often be relieved by minor adjustments, believe it or not. So if you find that you're getting a little pressure, like a little push or a little pinch in your, that's why I say in your socket, something's not right, it doesn't feel comfortable, call your practitioner and see what he says. And hopefully he'll come out and say, hey, man, you need a new socket, or hey, we need to make some adjustments to this because it's catching you right here or it's putting pressure here. A good way to know if you've got some type of pressure issue, if you're wearing your leg and let's say you've got this one spot that is just causing you a pain in the butt, take off your leg, take off the liner, look at it. It's probably going to be nice, bright, and red. Uh, if that doesn't go away pretty quickly, within let's say like 2 or 3 minutes of you taking it off, you are now developing a pressure sore, which means you're going to get some skin breakdown because there's too much pressure being applied to that. Get in touch with your practitioner, have them come look at that, and that'll probably be an easy fix for you to get taken care of. And I'm just hoping that some of these, if you guys do them, I will not see some of these pictures that I've been seeing on some of these social media sites. So I hope that some of you guys are really listening to this as I'm just running through this. Again, this is just a quick show to try and cover this issue because it was something that I saw. I may come back in and touch on it and go more in depth into it, but I think tonight we're just knocking them out one by one, and I'm trying to cover as many of them as I can because there's so many, but I'm just trying to get to the most common ones. Hopefully, they will help you figure out if you're experiencing one of these, and at least then you'll know what to do. Small bumps and nodules. What do you think? Cyst? I think that's what it sounds like. After you've worn your prosthetic limb for months or for even years, you may notice some small bumps or nodules that go away once you remove the prosthesis, but don't be fooled. This disappearing act, the underlying problem remains a consistent rubbing causing this prosthesis, which can get worse. So just because it went away, a cyst will become larger and more numerous if left untreated. They are a common problem for above the knee amputees, often on the inside of the leg, along the edge of the prosthesis. And although below the knee amputees may discover them as well, more common with above the knees. Why would these horrible things happen to us? Well, they should always be treated by a doctor before they become infectious and cause further damage. It is very important to make sure you have a proper fitting socket. Socket fit can lead to a lot of issues. So if we can know that, get that resolved before it goes any further through our practitioner, you can probably solve a lot of these problems before they get worse. Proper fitting sockets. Now, pain and or ulcer pressures. We've kind of covered that early on in the other show. Pain, pressure, ulcers, all kind of go hand in hand. I'm reading through some of the other most common things here, and we've kind of covered the list, man. We've really kind of got down to it. So I want to say, even with the best prosthetic care rehabilitation efforts, a positive prosthetic outcome is going to hinge on you taking care of your skin, catching some of these things before they become worse, recognizing them, and knowing the proper recourse, what to do to resolve all of your skin problems that for regular people are no big deal. But for us amputees, they can become a very, very major deal in a situation for us. So I wanted to make sure we touched on that, and we kind of covered some of those tonight. I really appreciate all of you tuning in to Amp Life Talk Radio and hearing me ramble on about some of the things that I talk about. I am so thankful and so appreciative of all of you that listen. Hey, I want you guys to do me a favor if you can. Share the show with people. Put the word out there as I try to put together some really good shows for you guys. I try to bring you some information. Again, like I said, this is a live show. I bring you the meat and potatoes, man. I don't bring you all the fluff and glamour and glitz. I'm bringing it to you straight from my little studio here, right to you topics that you talk about on a daily basis in the social media pages that I'm members of, and as some of the stuff that I see on a daily basis as I'm out visiting and seeing patients in my field of work with Synergy Prosthetics here in the Central Valley. I try to make sure I bring you relevant, current, and real issues. And we want to talk about the things that are affecting us as amputees. That's my goal. That's the goal of Amp Life Talk Radio. It is a show about amputees for amputees. And if you are an amputee, the biggest thing I want you to know is you are not alone. And my friend, always know that you can tune in to Amp Life Talk Radio and find a friend. And if you really wanted to see the ugliness of my shiny head, go over to Facebook page and type in Amp Life Talk Radio, and you can join me live for all the shows that I do and bring to you over here on Facebook Live. Again, I want to thank all of you for tuning in, listening to another show. Remember, you can listen on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and now Spotify just by typing in Amp Life Talk Radio. Everyone, I hope your Labor Day weekend was a blessed one and a good one. I look forward to spending the holidays with you, bringing you more shows. We have some really cool stuff coming up. I've got some people I'm trying to get some interviews set up with. A good guy who I met in Las Vegas at Las Vegas Battlegrounds. His name is Mike. Mike, I want to have you on the show. Christy Irwin. I got so many people. We just had Mason Hall on. We had so many people that I think are going to bring you some information that will inspire you to be all that you can be out there as amputees. Remember, you're ambassadors. Remember, you are there to educate all these able-bodied people about amputees and how awesome we are. Again, thank you for listening to another episode of Amp Life Talk Radio.